Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. So we're on our Mobius rust bucket truck, our 72 Ranger Highboy snowplow pick 'em up. We're getting it all nasty looking. So previous videos I showed you getting it painted, getting it all beat up and dug up and all that good stuff. I think it's looking pretty cool so far. Yeah, so now it's time to fade it out, rust it up, and go from there. So in this video I'm going to show you a technique that I've done years ago. Maybe it's something new to you. Maybe it's something you knew all about. Maybe it's something you've never heard about before. I don't know. I'll show you anyways. We're going to go through and first we're going to dull it out. We're going to flatten this out, and I'm not using dull coat. And the other thing we're going to do is, you've seen vehicles before that has clear coat on it, and the clear coat's like faded out in spots, and it's really shiny in some spots. The rest of it's really dull. That's what we're going to do to this. We're going to leave some high and low spots on it. And kind of go from there. So it's a pretty cool technique. I mean, it's simple. I mean, it's easier than painting. I mean, it's very simple, and it looks really cool. So we're going to do that technique on it. And yes, I know this is a 72 and they didn't have clear coat back then. I get that, but my truck did. And realistically, this truck really don't even have clear coat on it. It's just shiny. So, but we're doing the clear coat effect like it has it. But we all know it doesn't. If that makes sense. So we're gonna go to the bench and we'll get this thing started, and yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Let's go. Okay guys, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna dull it out. I'll dull the white, everything, just so it's all uniform, make it look like it's been out in the sun for a while. So we're gonna do the same on the box, inside the pickup box itself. I'm gonna heavily rust this inside here. I thought about maybe doing like a rubber mat or something like that, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Anyways, so what we're going to do, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to take this and we are going to kind of make that fade like they had clear coat on it, and the clear coat kind of, you know, faded out or flaked off or anything like that. So how we're going to do that is we're using Elmer's rubber cement, the no wrinkle kind, acid-free, photo-safe, shatter-resistant bottle. Do not eat it. So this is old school technique, works really cool. So you're obviously going to want to make sure your paint is completely cured out, like super cool, super good. And what we're going to do is, wherever we want it shiny, we're going to put the glue on there. Then we're going to take some of our Tamiya flat white and we're going to tone it right down to nothing, almost just to a nice wash. And we're going to give it just a mist, and that mist will make it look like it's just dulled right out. So that's how we're going to do it. So in that retrospect, we're going to take a couple spots and make it look like it's still got shine on it. So I'll probably go maybe here and back, and maybe on this spot, and then just maybe a little spot here. We'll leave the rest of it nasty. And then where it's flat, I'm going to wet sand this, because we did the rust color underneath this. And we're going to do the same as with the rooftop. We're going to do a little rust on top of that and a little bit on here. But in the meantime, like I say, we're going to take some of this and we're going to make it some shine spots on it and kind of go from there. Now the thing is, like I say, you just kind of want to pay attention where you want to rust it, because I did a spot here, I cut this out, so I want that rusty. So obviously we don't want clear coat there, so I'm going to basically anywhere you want it shiny, you're going to want to put the cement on it. So we're just going to do a spot here, and you don't have to put it on thick, nothing like that. The glue will hold it on pretty good. So you could either use this big honking applicator it comes with, or a brush. You know, now I'm thinking about a brush would probably be more handier, because that is it's a big brush. So we'll just do it this way. It'll obviously take longer doing it this route, but it'll be a little more precise. So we're just going to take it, just start anywhere. Let's see. Let's just go here. And you can leave it thick if you want. I mean, that don't matter. But just got to make sure we fill in all the spots where there's going to be shiny paint. And like I say, how thick you put it on, that's not going to matter. But you do want to let it dry a little bit before we start. And if you do have a little hole or something in the center of it, That's not a big deal either. So just kind of go around someplace where it's kind of mediocre. We'll go down the side. I'm going to leave that just like that. So once we paint that, that's going to be shiny there. And the rest of it will be dull. So another spot, I'm going to do just a little spot here, and we'll leave the rest of it flat. How it will look in the end, I don't know. We'll see how it looks. So we'll do a spot right here in the front, just this front corner. Let's do this whole front corner here, because we got rust going on back here, so we want to leave that rusty. Okay, so we're going to leave that just that shiny. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to do a few spots on here. I don't know the difference it's going to look on the white. We're going to do it anyways, just because. So we're going to do a little spot back here. But a lot of these, the roofs were really baked right out. You know, they were just like, whoa, you know, pretty nasty looking. So we're going to do a little spot here. So our hood, so we'll do this here just like this. We'll leave this nice and shiny. We'll wick it a little bit here. We'll just leave it a little spot like that. And we're not going to do too much on this here, just a little few pieces here and there. And we'll do some, let's see, middle spot right here, right between the two. Like that. We'll do some on the back side. Do a little spot right here. We'll leave it just like that. Good enough. And we'll dull the rest of it out. Because the clear coat, you know, on this thing's pretty much gone. Like I say, yes and no, they didn't have clear coat back in the day on these, but my truck did. So we're going to do that. And we'll do a few spots on the box side here. A couple spots here. And we'll just do a spot here. It's right here in the middle. And maybe a little spot here. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Alright, we're going to let that dry really good. It don't have to be like, oh my god, dry, but it needs to be pretty dry. So this stuff, it's obviously rubber cement, so it doesn't really like dry completely. It will to a point. I guess I shouldn't say that. It will dry some, but it's not going to like harden right up like hard rock glue. It's not going to do that. So I'm cleaning this with I wiped off my towel, and I'm just cleaning it with a little bit of my paint thinner, and that usually cleans it off the brush pretty good. And at this point, we're going to let it set for a minute, and I'll bring you back, and I'm going to throw it in the Suzy Bake Oven for a minute and let it cook, and we'll see how it turns out from there. And while that's in there doing that thing, we're going to mix up some flat white paint, and we'll get it ready for some spray time. So the other day I took the interior piece and I did just the black inside, kind of like simulating the rubber mat. I just used the old folk art mat. This is licorice, and I think, I don't know, it always works pretty good. As for my headliners and everything. On the bottom I did some more rust treatment. Now this time I used my new Winsor Newtons, and we did this guy here and this guy. It actually worked pretty good. And being these are acrylics, it dried pretty good. So these would be my new to go to. I'm going to get a few more colors. So we're going to use some of our Tamiya LP4. This is flat white. Shake contents well, because you can see it is very separated. So I'll get this mixed up. We are going to use the Tamiya lacquer thinner, item 87077. And we're going to get this mixed up. Like I say, I'm going to mix this very, very thin. Basically just a little bit of white paint and a lot of thinner. And we're going to spray it, just a nice couple of thin coats on it. Just some fast overlaps, and that's it. just enough to, and you'll see in the video, you'll see as it dulls down. So let me get this mixed up. Time to get this done, that should be ready to go, and we'll be ready to rock here. Okay guys, so we're going to take some of our LP4, like I say, it's flat white. I'm sure if you had gloss white, it's not going to be the end of the world. It'll all do the same job. So like I say, we're just going to put a little bit in here. We don't need a lot. That's probably well enough right there. I mean, I'm talking just enough to wet the whistle of the cup. Like I say, we're making the wash out of this, so which means very, very light, thin to none. So it means we're going to be way more thinner than we are going to be in the paint, but we don't want to make it so much thinner that's like there's nothing there. They say we want it just to where it's just pretty watery wash. That's all we want. A little more, and you know, the reason why you're making it so thin because you want to put it on really, really light. Because if you thinking, well, I'll just put regular paint on thin, well, it don't happen that way because you'll get carried away. Next thing you know, it's like, dang, I put on way too thick. And then you're aggravated with yourself, and now you're starting over. So like I say, I want this just to be just a very light, very, very, very light, just barely. See, I almost think that's too thick. Might need some more thinner. More thinner. But then again, we don't want to spray just like continuous sprays of thinner on it either. So we want to make sure we're actually getting some color down. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that we're just basically we're just fogging. It's all we're doing. Now this here, I don't have really a good mix ratio. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, just kind of, you know, whatever. This looks good. That looks good. Tastes great. All that good stuff. Like I say, it's just a wash. That's all it is. So you just want enough to say it's white. Okay, so see that? See how it's just, I mean, it just runs down the cup like there's nobody home. That's what we're looking for. I just want it just a little bit. So once we hit that, and it'll be just thin as can be. Yeah, see, it just splashed my hand. The skin soaked it right up like it was nothing. Excellent. Okay. So we're going to get this sprayed, and we're going to see what this does. So I'm going to pull that out of the oven. I don't know where that's at. It doesn't have to be completely dry. A little wet is even just as good. So let's take you over to the booth and let's get started. Alright guys, so we got our hood here. So you can see we got a little bit of a dullness going on from that flat white. Like I said, I didn't want to go heavy, but the hood obviously is going to take more of the flat than anything. So we have our glue on here. So just make sure she's dry. So now I just take my finger and you can just take and wipe that glue off. And voila. you have a shiny spot underneath like the clear coat. How cool is that? So we do our spot over here. Wipe that off. And we have a nice looking clear coat peel. That way you still got that shiny look underneath there. And you could still polish that, do whatever you wanted. Yeah, that works pretty cool. So if you wanted to give that like look like that's faded out in some of the paint's shot, like I say, it's just an easy trick. And it doesn't take nothing to do it. And I think it looks pretty cool. So we'll do the cab. So let's see, we got a spot here. Did up inside there. Something like that. Little spot there. And we did some white back here, white with the red. Right there. And I think I did a spot up here. Like so. I could have did a little more, but I guess. I did some more white. I know I did a spot up here. White you can't see it as much, but it is noticeable to a point. So yeah, so we got a couple spots there and there. Just subtle, like I said, I didn't want to get carried away with it. And our box side, we got some pieces here. Chunk up in the front. Like I say, the stuff just wipes right off. I mean, you don't have to do nothing magic or special. You just rub with your finger and it peels right off like it's nothing. And it comes off super clean. And there you have it. Pretty simple, pretty quick, easy. Works really good. Like I say, it's just old school Elmer's rubber cement that you can buy Walmart, wherever you want it. I mean, you can pick this up anywhere. And I've had this bottle for, I can't tell you how long, it's lasts forever. So like I say, that's just kind of a neat weathering trick, to kind of just a quick, if you want to make that clear coat fade, you know, that look where the clear coat's peeled off completely and it's left everything, you know, so we got a little bit of clear coat left on the truck and that's all that's there, and the rest of it's just dulled out. So that's my little trick for you for today. Like I say, pretty quick and easy. At this point, now we can get the truck weathered up and kind of go from there. Alright guys, at this point we're going to start burning through some of this paint and getting down into that primer. So we're going to do just a little spot on the hood. Like I said, I don't want to get too carried away with it. So we're just going to basically just wet sand it down just a little bit, just to get to that magic spot. So I want to keep it kind of a little ununiform basically. I don't want just a straight like strip down spot and there you go. Apparently I put a lot of paint on the hood. Okay, we're gonna leave that kind of like that. And there's some spots in there, so I'm going to actually take and put my just my stuff on here because I got some rust spots I'm going to do, and I'm going to do a little rust edge on there where I burned through it, so it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So the only spot I'm going to do just a little bit on top of the roof. And lessons learned. If you guys are wet sanding, see I have red in there? See how that's red there? I just remembered that. Take that water and drain it, because you will turn that white red. So sandpaper goes in the garbage, this water gets gone, and we start with fresh. I learned that the hard way one time doing a kit. Like, yeah, we'll just wet sand it out, no problem. Thinking, why does this look like that? I'm thinking, oh, you idiot. You wet sanded it with red water on a white kit. Not cool. Not cool, man. Not cool. So, new piece of sandpaper. I'm going to throw that one out. And we'll do just a little bit. I'm just going to do a little bit around the edge here, like around here. Where's my clear coat runoff? Right there. So we'll do a little bit here and just around the back. And that's all I'm going to do for rust on the roof. Okay, then we're just going to leave the roof just like that. Just enough to give it that little bit. Hey, I'm starting to rust up here, guys. Yeah, maybe go a little more. Just a little more maybe here. And that's it. We'll bring it down into the lights. You can see I'm getting to that brown because see the water's turning. So that's why I don't want to go too far with it. So I don't want to take the brown off, and so it'll be harder to touch that up. So I'm going to leave that about like that. Okay, looks good. I thought I had this weird spot. I thought, ooh, that looks goofy. That looks goofy. Okay, we're going to leave that like so. That looks pretty good. And we're going to rust the rest of it. I am going to put my metal trim on here just to touch it up. And kind of go from there. So we're going to start putting rust around the edge here and go from there. So I think I'm going to start on the box first. And if I'm remembering right, I told myself we're going to take a little bit of the top here and do some rust up here. So we're going back to red, so it ain't going to matter which paper I use at this point. And I want to do just a little bit up top here. So I did spray paint these. Just going to do the top only, that's it. Just a little spot. Alright, I guess we're done with that.